with kindness intertwined with every decision and relationship an INFJ holds. It's not to say that they don't have their fair share of pet peeves when it comes to interacting with others. Luckily, despite their behavior being notoriously difficult to read, there are a few key signs that this personality type is feeling rubbed the wrong way. Welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. They simply carry it through their energy. Through their infectious and notable aura, the INFJ can often communicate how they're feeling easiest through the unspoken ways of their energy. Whether they've become offended by what someone has said or they simply can't handle someone's disingenuous personality, it's usually in the things the INFJ doesn't say that speak the loudest. Although not everyone can pick up on the sudden or not so sudden energy shift, when in a group setting with people that know the INFJ well, the subtle change in their demeanor is overly obvious. These changes can be made apparent through their body language, their tone of voice, or simply the fact that their reserved nature is taken to the extreme. In fact, sometimes this extroverted feeler type doesn't even notice their outer attitude change. And sometimes this change can be so loud that their friends or loved ones feel obligated to give them a nudge in order to keep the peace within their surroundings and avoid someone's feelings getting hurt. Number 2. They communicate very formally. Often seen as amicable and friendly, even to newcomers they know they won't necessarily befriend in the long run, the INFJ personality type is known for their versatile communication style. They're easily able to adapt to all sorts of personality types, energy levels, and preferred topics. However, when this extroverted introvert begins to withdraw their obligation to keep an upbeat exchange of communication with someone, it can be a clear sign that they really don't like an individual. Now, the tricky thing with this change in communication style is that it's quite similar to that of an INFJ who is beginning to feel comfortable around someone, as they let their guard down and stop feeling so obligated to overcompensate their naturally introverted side with how they think they should act to seem friendly. They can seem less engaged at times. However, the difference lies within their attentiveness and willingness to voluntarily engage. It's almost as if when the INFJ is disinterested, they'll resort to a professional-esque presenting demeanor rather than a laid-back and observant style. Number 3. They're constantly making excuses. Yes, INFJs are introverts. And yes, at times, they can be caught telling a fib or two to safely back themselves out of a social invitation. However, when an INFJ is genuinely interested in engaging and growing a relationship with someone they deem worthy of their time, you can bet they'll make the grand effort of scheduling time for it. Actually, INFJs thrive when they have a few connections they can effortlessly maintain through intermittent hangouts. And so, if someone is constantly attempting to make plans with an INFJ only to get rain-checked and politely rejected by means of a busy schedule, you can bet the INFJ is probably not crazy about them. The difficult part of it all is that this boundary avoidant type sometimes simply doesn't have the heart to tell someone that they're not interested. This is mostly because they have a logical reason that can be said without putting someone down. INFJs have general expectations for those they can see themselves forming a true connection with. If those expectations aren't met, this introverted type simply doesn't see the point in pretending. Number 4. They don't provide attention sought through desperation. Speaking of the INFJ's general expectation for those they're considering to be potential matches in terms of new friendships and relationships, a well-managed ego tends to be one of the most important. In fact, egotistic traits such as being attention-thirsty, materialistic, gossiping, or overly competitive are amongst the top few that the INFJ just can't take on. No matter how sweet and flattering an individual is, when an INFJ has observed these specific traits more than once, they will quickly refuse to engage in the nonsense of it all, sometimes in a rather noticeable way. Despite their deep-rooted need to deter conflict of all kinds, the INFJ won't hesitate to keep a straight face when someone is sharing an offensive joke about another person. They won't engage in compliment fishing, and they won't be the one congratulating a winner that only got to where they are through dirty practices. INFJs are the first type to be genuinely happy for someone who deserves it. And if they're not, they probably don't like you, for rather good reasons, that is. Number 5. Avoidance at all costs. Sure, turning down plans and retracting their obligated friendliness may be key signs, but one way someone will absolutely know for sure if the INFJ dislikes them is through their sheer avoidance. Haven't seen the INFJ in a while? It's not uncommon that there's someone they're trying to avoid talking to. Whether they suddenly choose to park on the other side of the work parking lot, take a different train home, choose a different place to sit at school, go to the gym at a different time of day, the INFJ will take truly remarkable measures to stay away from someone they don't like engaging with. While for most types a simple engagement may seem like less effort in comparison to changing their entire regimen around avoiding it, for this intuitive type, making it easiest to ignore the fact that someone doesn't exist tends to seem like the easier route. And if they can't physically avoid someone, they may just happen to be on a phone call at the same time every day, or will avoid being caught without headphones in, giving a clear message that they're not interested in engaging in the slightest. Number 6. They won't ask targeted questions in group settings. The less intimate social setting of a group is often where the INFJ personality type prefers to take a backseat no matter who it is they're engaging with. However, when they do chime into a group conversation, they don't hesitate to still attempt to guide the interaction down a deeper and more purposeful direction. By asking well-thought-out questions pertaining to philosophical viewpoints and others' personal experiences, the INFJ can take a surface-level exchange of words and morph it into a much more profound setting. And while they try to avoid brain-picking one specific individual within these less intimate conversations as they would in a one-on-one setting, they may still use this tactic to pull the attention away from a conversation hogger. Speaking earlier on their detest of attention-seeking behavior, INFJs love to give the talked-over one of the group the microphone. Without putting the shy one on the spot, this introverted type loves to skip over the ones who love to hear themselves talk and give the floor to those who have something to say. So, if they're point-blank ignoring someone's input within a conversation in order to focus on someone else in the group, they probably feel rubbed the wrong way in some aspects. Number 7. They seem tired or exhausted. It's a well-known fact that the INFJ can pick up on and mentally absorb the energies around them, often feeling invigorated and uplifted around positive people. This extroverted feeler type also feels the opposite when around those of a negative and ingenuine energy. Within just a short time of absorbing the feelings of someone who is negative, disrespectful, pessimistic, or can't help but to fall into the trap of victim mentality, the INFJ's temporary physical well-being will change. Feelings of exhaustion, weakness, nausea, dizziness, fogginess, or simply feeling burned out after an interaction with someone is a sheer sign that they don't jive well with the energy that person is emitting. In fact, they may even find themselves suddenly yawning or verbally complaining about how tired they feel with this person without realizing what it is that suddenly affected them. Ironically, however, the empathetic INFJ often holds a soft spot for those who struggle with these difficult belief systems and outward energies. This makes it so that it's not that they necessarily dislike those who deplete them of their mental and physical energy, but rather, they dislike how much those ill-rooted feelings affect them. Well, psychos, that's it for today. Before you go, let us know in the comments below if you think people notice when you don't like them as an INFJ. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.